There's only a couple types of people who I think that's the right move for, which I'll get to in a second. So the idea behind the blue ocean strategy is you want to be first to market, which comes from the book, The 22 Immutable Laws of Marketing, where if you're not first, you're last, and you want to be in a business with no competition, which is great, okay? But it's a completely untested market. Um, the markets that are competitive because there's a ton of money out there. Real estate is a $1 trillion industry, multiple $1 trillion industry. There's a ton of money out there. It doesn't matter that there's a ton of agents out there. There's a ton of agents out there because there's so much money out there. All you have to do is be better than those guys, sell harder, service your clients better. Um, aim to be the best. Yeah, it's competitive, but you know what? Um, Anything that's if it was easy, everyone would have that financial lifestyle that they wanted. Even if you are first to market in something, it doesn't mean that you're going to own that niche. There's a ton of businesses that died in the tech boom in 1999 that might have been before Google. Search engines before Google, e-commerce stores before Amazon. So even in that deal, um, it doesn't mean it's not going to get competitive. Okay, you're always going to be dealing with competition, and it's about modeling success and getting ready to wake up and go in and expand and do better. Okay, um, so like if you go hard and you service the AT double hockey stick out of your clients, master branding, marketing, advertising, you stay on your game. You're spending like an hour and a half a day on your education. Um, you're learning everything you can. You're making more cold calls. You're doing everything better. You're going to succeed, period. Okay. And there's always going to be room for that. There's always going to be room for guys who are willing to do that because most people aren't. Most people, you know, they get to that increased level of resistance, increased level of pain. They're like, you know what, this isn't worth it. And they give up. And that's why the bulk of those businesses fail. Um, it's people giving up even if they're in the right market, okay, because it's difficult, but it gets easier over time. So the other problem with these blue ocean businesses is you can't model successful people. Yeah, you can go back and model titans of industries who've changed and created a market, but you can't model someone who's successful. If you want to sell real estate, you can you can get my book. You can go get Grant Cardone's training for sales, which is broad training. But now with YouTube and everything and all these micro businesses, you can go read books on specifically on real estate sales. You can, there's a ton of guys on YouTube who are doing, real estate sales gurus. So it's like micro niched and like broken down to, minute levels for you. And this didn't even exist 10 years ago. Otherwise, my learning curve would have been way shorter. You guys are coming up now with all this stuff on YouTube, and it's like it's the greatest equalizer of all time. You can see exactly how to build a real estate, sell real estate and make 6 to 7 figures by guys who've done it. And they didn't do it 40 years ago. You're not reading a book from the 70s. You're reading, and listening to guys who've specifically done it. Like you can get general stuff from me, but you can go ahead and get like step by step by step, whether it's courses or whether it's listening to guys' YouTube videos. Yeah, I mean, not everyone is created equal. Not all these guys are good or super ethical, but there are enough guys out there for you to literally get like a micro detailed game plan and model someone who's already done it, which is super cool. So it's a great time to be an entrepreneur or want to be an entrepreneur. Um, and you can't do that in a blue ocean business. You can't model success. And you don't want to spend your life savings and a year of your time on product development to find no demand for your products and that your blue ocean strategy was actually a mirage in the desert. You were wandering through the desert and you saw this blue ocean and the blue ocean turned out to be a mirage. Okay, we spent like a year on development and all these things in our tech startup, and it was like nobody wanted to buy it. Okay, and we put the marketing out there, and the marketing was break even. Now look, our developer, we had some shots, some guys that wanted to buy our company, but in between those, our developer ran off. because he wasn't super accountable. Again, that's another factor, because in those types of businesses, you're probably going to need partners as opposed to service businesses, which you can go at as a sole proprietor. But the big thing was like, it takes a while to get that product to market when you're trying to reinvent the wheel and you don't know if there's a market, right? And you can dump a lot of money and a lot of time only to find out, hey, people aren't interested in this thing. It's a big gamble. Um, that being said, there's two exceptions to the blue ocean strategy. One, you're already a wealthy and successful entrepreneur. Okay. Even better if you're a wealthy and successful entrepreneur who is in a venture capitalist firm. Okay. Like the guys who funded Airbnb and Facebook, the venture capitalists, they're an exception. Perfect. Okay. They've already succeeded in tech sales. They've got a lot of money. They can take a lot of shots with a lot of these different companies, and they can already select for the cream of the crop. Some of these venture capitalists in Silicon Valley can literally look at the 100 best startup ideas in the world and choose 3 to invest in that year. Okay, if that's you, you definitely can succeed with the blue ocean strategy. If you're a wealthy and successful entrepreneur, but not a venture capitalist, you can take a shot at it if you think you have a great idea because you have the cash flow to shake it off. You want to put 500 grand into something, when you're worth 5 mil and you've got 2 to 3 income producing vehicles giving you, 70,000 a month or whatever. Sure, you can take that shot. You also can be able to fund it without having to go through investors and that whole dog and pony show. You're also not going to have to do the grunt work yourself because you can hire a team, you can hire good programmers, money and being a veteran entrepreneur who's been through the fires and has succeeded would be the first exception of people who can take a shot at this. But even then, it's like probably not a shot as your sole business. It's not like you just close up shop on everything else, but so that would be one. And the other one would be if you have an exceptional IQ and your rock star programming skills, like the programmer that I worked with in my tech startup. Now he went off to get a $75,000 job, but that kid should be worth $10 million if he actually had a work ethic and accountability, because he did have that IQ, top of his class at one of the top Canadian universities, and had rock star programming skills. We couldn't replace him when he left. Same thing with Mark Zuckerberg, same thing with Bill Gates at the time, same thing with not Steve Jobs per se, but Steve Wozniak. So all those guys who created those machines and those blue ocean strategies. It doesn't have to be programming skills, but just, if you're going into a different niche, but that exceptional IQ is a big one. Okay. I don't have it. I couldn't program a microwave, set the time on it. It's not my deal. But if you do that, I actually did a video on that, how to tell if you're exceptional. And I guess also, if you have that exceptional IQ, maybe you don't have the programming skills, but your family comes from money and you have a lot of connections. A few of those tech entrepreneurs did fit that mold. But that would be really it. It would be like, previous success on a quite a large level, or, a lot of money and connections, or, super high IQ with either rock star programming skills or like one like rock star ability in an area that's like very niche. And I'm not even talking about like you're a rock star salesman. I'm talking about some rock star like like super niche thing that's basically genetically based. It's just going to be very hard for anyone else to match you in that area.